Confined space, permit required, attendant training. A confined space is large enough to enter and perform work, limited in the way of entry or exit, and is not designed for continuous occupancy. A permit-required confined space has an actual or potential hazardous atmosphere, materials that could engulf entrant, an internal shape that could trap entrant, or contains other serious hazards. Entry into a permit-required confined space is not a one-person job. It requires a team of individuals who work together and have the knowledge and skills necessary to complete the job safely. When the host and contractor employees participate in entry operations, the host employer must have procedures to coordinate entry operations. Your role as an attendant is to monitor entrance from outside the space, know the hazards that could be faced, understand behavioral effects of exposure, and maintain an accurate count of entrants. You are responsible for communicating with entrants as necessary, monitoring the activities inside and outside of the space, as well as knowing how to summon rescue services. An entry permit is provided by the host facility and it authorizes entry into a permit space. The permit identifies the space to be entered, the purpose of entry, the date and authorized duration of permit, as well as the authorized entrance. The permit states the names of the attendants, the name of the entry supervisor, the hazards of the permit space, and the measures used to isolate the permit space. The permit includes acceptable entry conditions, the results of initial and periodic testing, rescue and emergency service numbers, communication procedures, and equipment required. Matrix identifies and evaluates hazards in our Job Hazard Analysis, JHA. Then we implement controls and follow our standard operating procedures. You as the attendant obtain the entry permit. Ensure the information is complete and that the permit is signed. A permit space can be reclassified when the space does not pose any atmospheric hazards, and all hazards are eliminated without entry. In an alternate entry confined space, the two-man rule must be followed. Confined space hazards are physical hazards, oxygen deficiency, combustibility, toxic air contaminants, and engulfment hazards. Physical hazards can be mechanical equipment, moving parts, gases, liquids, or fluids, heat or excessive noise. Oxygen deficiency. The minimum safe level of oxygen is 19.5%. The maximum safe level is 23.5%. Gases displace oxygen and chemical reactions consume oxygen. Combustibility occurs when flammable gases or vapors are present, airborne combustible dust, or the hazardous atmosphere contains more than 10% of lower flammable limits. Toxic air contaminants. Some common hazardous gases found in confined spaces are oxygen, hydrogen sulfide, carbon monoxide, and carbon dioxide. Engulfment hazards include water or other liquids, grain, sand, ash, and sawdust. Understanding the behaviors people may exhibit while working in a permit-required confined space is critical. Behavioral effects include asphyxiation, in which the entrant will collapse. Or, if there is too much oxygen, the entrant will cough, faint, or be rapidly breathing. Behavioral effects include fatigue, tiredness, weakness, irritability, indecisive, uncommunicative, or unable to recall details. As the attendant, you must maintain an accurate count of entrants by using the entrant roster or tracking system. This is done through accurately identifying entrants. You must monitor activities inside and outside of the space, as well as remain outside of the space the entire time. Do not leave unless relieved by a trained confined space attendant. As the attendant, you are responsible for communicating with the entrants and alerting the entrants if there is an evacuation. Conditions for immediate evacuation include a prohibited condition emerges, behavioral effects are detected, a situation arises outside of the space, duties cannot be performed safely, or the host facility's evacuation alarm is activated. To ensure the safety of entrance, attendants will monitor the following: an unauthorized person. Warn the person that it is a confined space and approval for entry is required. Monitor abnormal physical or mental behaviors and perform no other duties that interfere with the monitoring of the confined space. Rescue and emergency services are performed by the host facility's outside rescue services or on-site rescue team. You must attend the daily safety meeting at the start of your shift given by the matrix supervisor. The following personal protective equipment is required gate to gate: a hard hat with the bill facing forward, safety glasses, hearing protection, long sleeves and long pants, and steel-toed boots. You will follow the host facility's emergency action plan. The evacuation will be directed by the control room. Make sure you know where the muster point is located and the different alarm notifications. This information will be covered in the facility's site-specific orientation. When you get to your work area, make sure you know your surroundings. Know what floor you are on, look for the nearest plant phone, fire extinguisher, and escape route in case of an emergency. Using your cell phone, texting, the internet, and being on social media is a distraction that impacts your job. Cell phone use is permitted in the facility by supervisors and foremen only. Danger and caution tape. Danger tape is red. Do not cross for any reason. You are not authorized. Caution tape is yellow. Stop, read the tag, and assess the area before proceeding with caution, only if it is safe to do so. You are required to immediately report to your matrix supervisor if an accident or an incident is to occur during your shift. All injuries, no matter how minor, must be reported. A confined space attendant holds a safety-sensitive position within this company. Your duties involve such a great risk of injury to others that even a momentary lapse of attention can have disastrous consequences. You are expected to come into work every shift fit for duty, mentally and physically. If this standard is not met, you will be removed from site. Additional information: park only in the designated areas for contractors. Covanta facilities do not authorize tobacco or tobacco-related products anywhere on the facility grounds. Smoke only in the facility's designated areas. Please eat and drink only in the authorized break areas. If you fail to follow the safety policies that have been outlined in this video, you are subject to disciplinary actions to include termination. If you have questions at any time, please contact your matrix supervisor. All matrix leaders wear white hard hats.